Hello everyone and happy holidays. I'm recording a Backlog Bunker Mini because I'm not going to be at my computer over this weekend, and instead of skipping a week like I have most of these past few weeks, I'm going to actually do a mini, which I haven't done in a while, so here you go. I very recently got the email invitation to the Marvel Tokone beta, so it gave me the idea to talk about what exactly makes a fighting game click for people. Sometimes it's buffer systems, combo routes, neutral, movement, anything like that. I completely bounce off of most SNK games because their buffer systems are so insanely strict. Like, chances are I'm gonna have KOF footage behind this because I need something to record for these bunkers, and like, look at my input history and see that my moves like aren't coming out in some examples, and I'll probably do a side-by-side with like Guilty Gear or Dragon Ball. No, I don't have Dragon Ball installed anymore. But like Guilty Gear or something, and you'll see that I'm doing like the same motions, but it works in Guilty Gear, but it doesn't work in SNK. It happens a lot with quarter and half circles, because the like motions that I do for those in like every other fighting game that I play simply do not work in KOF 15. They will ask for the most like specific versions of a quarter circle or a half circle of all time, and even then, sometimes it still doesn't work. For an example of combo routes not making me like a game as much, Guilty Gear Strive has a lot of problems that make it less fun than Zerd, but the most important one to me is the removal of the Gatling system that taught me how to build combos in Zerd. Cause like, I've played fighting games before I played Guilty Gear and before I played Dragon Ball FighterZ. I played Mortal Kombat, I played Street Fighter, but that was mostly like, you know, mashing buttons and stuff, the way most people casually play fighting games. I didn't really know what I was doing, I was just pressing buttons and trying to find patterns when I could. I think the most I got into a traditional fighting game before I got into Guilty Gear and FighterZ was a very small fighting game called Blade Strangers, which I own on Switch, and I wasn't very good at it, obviously, but again, I just kind of played it by mashing buttons. I didn't really know what a combo was, or how I should really link things together. My main was Noko, by the way. If there are any Blade Strangers freaks out there who want to run a set, hit me up. But the point I'm getting to is that when I eventually played Guilty Gear Zard on PS4, it taught me about the Gatling system, and it was like, oh yeah, punch, kick, slash, heavy slash, and that gave me the idea of how I would want to make a combo. That, combined with Roman canceling, just gave me more inspiration for how I should actually try to, you know, play fighting games like how they should be played. I'm still a far more neutral-oriented player, but the simple act of going, hey, if you want to make a basic-ass combo, you do punch, and then you do kick, and then you do slash, and then you do heavy slash. That puts me above most people who play fighting games. And then this carry over into FighterZ, which also has a pretty simple Gatling of light, medium, heavy, and then sometimes special. Those Gatling systems got me into fighting games because they taught me the simple concept of a combo before I went and looked for more complicated stuff on my own. That's the kind of tutorialization we should be doing, not fucking grab this guy 3 times, or don't get hit by a barrel, or whatever the fuck Street Fighter 6 is doing. And then, surprise surprise, Dragon Ball FighterZ became my favorite fighting game of all time. To me, there will never ever be another game like DBFZ. That game clicked for me in a way that no other fighting game has ever even come close to. Yes, I like Marvel 3, I like Zard, I like BB Tag, but none of them will ever command me to the lab and playing online for like upwards of 200 hours like Prime Fighters did. I don't like Touch of Deaths. I've never used a Touch of Death. I probably never will use a Touch of Death. But you know what game I practiced a Touch of Death in? Dragon Ball FighterZ. During the height of my time with the game, sometimes I would open it just to fuck around in training mode for no reason, not even like trying to do anything, just to pass time. It is my number 3 most played game on Steam, over some of my favorites of all time like Terraria or Batman Arkham Knight. If anything, at that time, I probably would have called FighterZ one of my favorite games of all time. But if you remember how I spoke about FighterZ in the past in the bunker, as well as the fact that I keep speaking in the past tense, obviously I don't love FighterZ anymore. Not because I grew away from the game, but because the game literally became something different. I can't really call it dead, because that's not really accurate, but at the same time, just because a zombie shambles around on 2 legs doesn't mean it's alive. People cry and piss their pants about fighting games not getting support after they're released, but isn't that a good thing? This applies to all forms of live service, but I've never liked the idea that a multiplayer game that I like is just constantly getting updated and changing all the minutia of the things that I enjoy playing about the game. I will take a UI Goku or even a Labco 21 rooting the game before I ever take balance patches or full game patches that completely change how my combos work. I will very likely spend the entire rest of my fighting game career searching for the high of Prime FighterZ again, never to ever find it. So if you find a fighting game that you love, stick with it and hold it close while you can. If it's an old fighting game, congrats, no patches, download it in some way, just make sure you have it permanently to you forever. And if it's a new fighting game, hope that it dies in the form that you like it in. Tekken fans might be familiar with this, but you never know when the worst balance patch is right around the corner. That's it, get out of here.